Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG Review Show. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's the TNG Review Show. We're back again to talk about Star Trek The Next Generation on a Wednesday evening, which is what we like to do. With myself, Montalban, and my co-hosts, Mazimet Bob, Chief Sean, and Tavikins Turner. Good evening to you all. Good evening to you all. Let's start with Mazimet Bob. How are you this week, Maz?
I'm good. I've been up to Bedford this week to visit the future in-laws, so had to get up at 5 this morning to get on the road to get home before my meeting started. So
oh, crumbs.
Scant sleep in the last few days, but other than that, I'm all good.
You're all good. Feeling a little flustered, a little tired, but you're hanging on in there.
Yeah.
Chief Sean, are you in the wrong place?
I'm in many places. Hold on.
Hang on. No, there you go.
How's that?
That's better. I think you're usually on the right.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I see.
It's like, well, that's not right. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And as I said, I was involved with the local drama group the last couple of months, and we went on tour. Went to 8 festivals, got 7 first places and 1 second place. Went to the All Irelands, placed 3rd. So, oh no, it wasn't a cheer. I'm quite annoyed. We went as favourites. We got 3rd place.
Well, that's a whole series of great results, though. I mean, you got to be pretty proud of that.
Oh yeah, you should see the table with all the awards for the various festivals. But to go to the All Irelands and then as favourites and then come 3rd is a little bit of a stinger.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry.
Look, we regroup, we go again.
Yeah, but tell you what, you get another cheer from us anyway for being
right.
awesome.
Thank you.
So well done.
Congratulations. Celebrating mediocrity. Woo! 3rd place.
Oh my gosh, man.
I think I'll have to just turn you down a little bit there, Tavi. A bit loud. Hang on a minute.
Oh my god.
No, don't turn it down. That's criminal.
I know. There you go. Let's try that. How are you, Tavi?
Panko's not in yet, so you don't need to tell me.
No.
Oops. Sorry.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm exhausted in a great way. It's finally kicking off in the agricultural season. So, as I jokingly tell Mr. Tavikins, I'm playing in the shit because I'm piling up compost piles, hot compost piles. So yeah, I've been layering up leaves. I'm getting free from the municipality and mixing it with droppings from various animals to create a hot pile to, fertilize our sandy soils.
What's the best one? What's the best shit then? From what animal? Is there
Pig,
a
I
favorite?
believe.
Ooh, that's hard. One of the best ones is chicken, but rabbit and chicken are at the top. And then after that is cow.
I thought it might have been chicken because I watched Clarkson's farm and he moves his chicken around the fields to naturally fertilize the soil. It's something they do, apparently.
Well,
So I wondered if it was chicken.
It's not longer lasting, but the cow fertilizer has a lot of micronutrients that you really need. So, you know.
I was going to say, and I'm no expert on this, despite my mother coming from a farm. Different animals obviously have different properties. So depending on the natural properties of the soil, what might be good for one farm wouldn't be good for another because you'd be putting things in that they already have too much of, or etc.
Correct.
Well, I didn't think we'd be starting the stream off talking about
Yeah.
shit this evening, so there you go.
Yeah, we got to go to 8 minutes talking about shit. There we
Anybody would think this has turned into a Star Trek Discovery live stream.
Speaking of shit, looking forward to this. It's a Lwaxana episode.
Ouch.
Ouch. Poor Lwaxana.
There's a segue.
Poor Lwaxana. Good evening to everyone in the chat.
Lwaxana.
Good evening to Stupum. Andrew. Hi, Andrew. I hope you are well and not working yourself too hard. Wookie. Where's your Wookie? Usually we get a...
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I can do the... Where are we? Gulp.
Yeah.
Oh, my Millennium Falcon is broken. Never mind.
Oh, no.
I'll fix it next week. Punch it, Chewie.
Andrew Wookie, Mr. Tavikins, the beard is in the house. So good evening to you, sir. I hope everyone in live chat is well this evening. And let's get into it then. So we're here to talk about, yes, a Lwaxana episode, The Cost of Living, episode 20 of season 5. Production number 40275-220. And it first aired in the US on the 20th of April in 1992. So you must have had a slight gap there because we were ahead of them. Oh no, we're still ahead of them because it's May now, isn't it? Sorry.
We're still a week off 28 years exactly from the UK.
Still a week
date.
off.
So it was May 95 when we got it in our part of the world. I said in Ireland we got the BBC as well as RTE. I forget which one had it first, but they were roughly around the same.
Yeah.
And it was rendered quite moot because we could see BBC anyway, so it's all good.
Good evening to Dave in chat. A first time watcher. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for coming by and joining us.
Dave's the owner of the Star Trek Next Generation Real Fan Group page on Facebook.
Oh, nice.
Wow, cool. It's great.
We had trouble with my post earlier, so we've been pinging back and forth and trying to get it to work properly. So he thought he'd come along.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, well, it's good to have you, sir. Well done. And you have a wonderful Facebook group. So, good stuff. This episode was written by Peter Allen Fields, who we've mentioned before. This is the second of 3 episodes he writes, and is directed by Winrick Colby. Again, we've talked about it many times. It's a length of 16 episodes.
Yeah, does he have the record for directing or something like that? Does he have the most episodes? He might do.
He might do of TNG. 16's quite a lot.
He did a lot of Voyager. Hell of a lot of Voyager. I think he definitely did more Voyager than anyone else. He was around.
Yeah. And, he's usually a pretty solid director, isn't he? I think he did, like, All Good Things and a lot of the,
I
Big
think he
episodes.
did. Yeah, he did the opener of Voyager as well.
The caretaker. Yeah.
Caretaker. Yeah,
Yeah.
he got that as well. So they gave him the big episodes, the ones they really needed someone good on. Because ultimately, if you tank the pilot, you tank the whole show. So they trusted him.
Right. Let's bring up
Dave. Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah, go on.
Dave. We play. We also have a fun thing where we're doing Chief Sean Bingo. So Chief Bingo. So if you'd like that, you can get your bingo cards by submitting some information. And when you see in the chat that I write Chief in large letters, that's one of the spots, one of the bingo calls you can do to get your Chief card.
Yes, and Tavi does spend the entire time.
Links.
Oh gosh, you're going to want me to find the link now, aren't you?
I can send it to you in the private comments. There you go.
Have you got? Have you?
You can never see it on StreamYard. He
Sorry,
doesn't
I
have
got
that
it.
chat
I
window
got it.
up.
I got it.
There's been loads already. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to catch up on my bingo card.
There you go. Hopefully you can see that that link. That is
Oh
where.
no!
All right, I'm out.
That is where. That is where you get that from. That link. Right.
You've done a Lower Decks reference already, have you? Totally missed
Well,
that.
I'm wearing a Lower Decks uniform, so I'm in
Oh,
a
of course.
Lower Decks sick or shuttle bay.
You can fill in your bingo card, and there is a quiz where you can win TNG points. So
Get yourself on the leaderboard.
the points never mean prizes, but it's
You
what
just
we
get
do.
that lovely glow and feeling good about yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
TNG
For knowing more
championship.
than the next person.
It's valuable to people like us. So he understands for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so the teaser then. We're thrown straight into the action in this episode with the Enterprise attacking an asteroid, which is unusual. No captain's log or anything like that. Day reports that they've blown the asteroid into fragments, but it will still cause planetary-wide damage because it contains nitrium and crondite, so the torpedoes will have no effect. Worf also can't get a tractor beam lock on it, so that's a problem. And so in a last-ditch attempt, they use the deflector dish to shoot a particle beam that destroys the asteroid. And all is well. And the Enterprise gets sprinkled with some fairy dust. There we go. And everyone lives happily ever after. The end.
And they're just more glittery and fabulous.
And that's
But
when
question one.
It's the quickest episode in the world.
What is the method used for destroying the comet fragments? Ooh. A. Proton beam. B. Pre-warp field. C. Particle field. D. Reverse the polarity of the neutron flow.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll throw in the bonus at the same time because it's not reliant on the first question. How many seconds till impact does Data state? So just at the end there he states how many seconds. I will say it's not 47. Actually, I'll say it's less than 47. I'll give you that.
It's less than 47 seconds. I don't even know the answer to that one. I didn't write that one down.
Blank seconds till impact, he does say.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I'll give points for closest because nobody's probably has a bang on.
I better get some answers in the chat then. I'm gonna have to come in. I'm gonna go with a.
Which bit of the seconds? Sorry.
How many
If they
seconds
say this
till
many
impact?
seconds, then this many seconds, and then
the last time he says it, Data says it just before they try the first part that I won't say what it is.
Oh.
Blank seconds till impact, Data says. Just the last thing he says.
Oh,
the last time he says it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have that one then.
He says he's going to make us a prize. The Thing style paper mache sculpture featuring all four presenters' heads. That's utterly
Brilliant.
terrifying, Wookie. That's
some sort of Mount Rushmore kind of thing.
Thing of nightmares.
I would find it endearing and also disturbing.
Yeah. Yeah. How many seconds? I'm going to put on how many seconds of a night. I'm going to go with
Massive.
9. There we go. Work that one out. Okay, shall I carry on with Act 1 then?
Yeah.
So, Act 1 kicks off in Troi's office. I don't think Troi's office has particularly changed much since we last saw it. I think we just get some different camera angles on it. But Worf and Alexander are deep in session as they're not getting on. Basically, Alexander's not doing his chores and Worf's losing his shit over it. Troi suggests writing a contract, which is indeed something we've done in the house with the kids over the years and found it quite useful for a period of time. And she sends them away to discuss it amongst themselves. Riker then chimes in to say that her mother's come aboard and to meet her in the transporter room. She meets her and Lwaxana informs her she is getting married. But yeah.
I was going to say that's a great shot of disgust.
That's
nice acting.
That's a face
That's
of Troi.
Everyone's expression.
Everyone like, oh, it's a Lwaxana episode.
Your mother's here.
Yeah.
Don't mean it, Mum, if you're out there. Oh, by the way, I've got a nice glass of Merlot this evening as my blood wine.
I've got some Prosecco for a change.
Oh, very good.
I'd go bubbly.
Oh, nice.
I've been at my future mother-in-law's and she plied me with red wine the last 2 days, so I thought I'd go something
You
different.
thought you'd change it up.
Nice.
Yeah. Did I say that Lwaxana informs her she's getting married? Well, she does. She does. They go to 10 forward where Lwaxana thinks it would make a wonderful wedding hall. Deanna is confused and has 20 questions. Lwaxana thinks Deanna is boring for getting into all the details. But what does it matter anyway when she's so happy? Her groom being Campio, who is a minister of the Costolian government. And royalty, naturally. Deanna wants to know how they met, but Lwaxana is like, that's a funny thing, that. We haven't met yet. Not actually physically met. But his profile looks banging. Deanna...
Yeah, they didn't have the word for catfish in the 24th century.
No. Deanna thinks she's being ridiculous. So, yeah. Right, we're halfway through Act 1. Do you want to go back and do the last, the questions?
So I'm covered in C's, so particle field is correct. And Mazza managed to get it bang on, 17 seconds. I don't know if you knew or you just guessed, but if you guessed, it's a hell of a guess.
Down.
I had it all. At first, it was upper atmosphere in 44 seconds, impact 30 seconds, then prepare tractor beam 30 seconds to impact, then 17 seconds, boom, target destroyed.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck.
well done.
Good
Okay.
luck trying to
Okay,
fox
no need-
Mazza and Bob. I'll tell you.
Oh, okay.
And I don't even get to spin my wheel.
Oh.
No.
You got your wheel ready though for later, right?
I haven't. No, I should.
Get your wheel ready.
Oh, hang on. I'll get my wheel ready. Bear with me a sec.
I don't think the other bonus
my
questions are that difficult, so you most likely will need it for a few of them.
What are you drinking, Sean?
I am drinking some Pinot Noir. That's how the French pronounce it.
It's his favourite.
There you go. I have my wheel of misfortune.
Hey, got a wheel.
I'm very unsophisticated when it comes to wine, so when I find one I like, I just keep getting it. It's just easy.
Like you've gone and just
Ironically-
used my lucky spin. I don't get anything for that.
Yeah,
You won.
yeah.
You won. So you know.
Look, Tavi had the look of the spin last week. It wouldn't stop turning for her.
That's
I don't know if the universe has come up and clapped you back yet, but if you're not, it's coming.
Yeah.
The fucking as it's called.
I hope it doesn't know where I lived. I hope it realizes that I doesn't realize I've moved.
Yes.
It's like that snail that chases the billionaire.
Hmm.
You know that one? You can have $1 billion, but there's a snail constantly traveling towards you, and if you touch it, you die.
Wow.
What?
Oh, there's no more explanation than that. That's the whole
it.
thing.
That is it.
That's
it.
fine.
Yeah.
I just go to Australia, wait a few years. And
Yeah,
then
every
pop
6
back to
months,
England.
change equators. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do a lot of traveling on $1 billion, I'd imagine.
A lot, even off planet.
Well, I was about to say, yeah, you could always go up into the International Space Station.
What
Get
is
there,
Alex?
snail.
You turn into, what's his name? Howard Hughes, was it? Who
Yeah.
like lived on an airplane and stuff.
Yeah, and I forget which Star Trek actor was in that film, The Aviator, but I'm sure someone will remind me. No, Tavi's mouth's full. Never mind. What's Alexander doing with his hand?
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Good point.
Did I miss something?
Worf's trying his
you-
best to ignore it.
Brent was in The Aviator. I was giving you a lead in there to talk about Brent. But you
Oh,
missed it.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not get that.
Okay, so Worf and Alexander enter 10 forward as they are still having difficulties drawing up their contract, and Lwaxana meets Alexander for the first time and takes a shine to the little warrior. Despite thinking the contract concept seems like a fair and equitable solution, Lwaxana thinks it's ghastly that Mr. Worf is inflicting these rules on his son. Later in a corridor walk and talk, Picard expresses to Riker his dissatisfaction that woman is using his ship for a wedding venue. Riker tells Picard that that's because she's hoping the captain will give her away. And that changes that changes Picard's position, as he would be pleased to give her away to any man.
I can't get no.
Da-da-da.
So there was a little boom mic visible on this this scene here.
Was it?
Oh, and the glass, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, very
I was
good.
like, oh, is there? So I went back and watched it again, and you just see it like it just goes boop, boop, like at the top,
Yeah.
like a little boop, the black thing that you'd only see for a
Little
split
boop.
second.
Wow.
Well, then the camera pans upwards as they walk by, and we see that the sparkle dust, the glitter, is gradually infesting the ship.
I never noticed there was chicken wire holding the lights together before. Interesting.
Yeah. That's the end of Act 1. Done.
Okay,
Dusted.
all right.
Finished.
So, questions. Question 2. Campio was from what species or what group? They don't specify if it's a species. A. Costamosian. B. Costolin. C. Karama. Or D. Kesprit.
I know that one.
Yeah, you mentioned it, so it's in your script.
I about to say, I just said it, so I should know it. Dave knows it. Mazza knows it.
And I have a BS question for you.
Tavikins
as
knows
well.
it. Stuplum knows it.
Yeah,
Covered in
okay, yeah.
bees.
Does Ruth know it?
I think. Well, if she doesn't, she's not capable of reading.
Ruth knows it.
Oh yeah, Ruth knows it. Okay,
Yay.
everyone's in.
Andrew knows it.
So, Andrew's in as well.
Hey.
And the bonus question: the actor playing Campio guest starred on which courtroom drama, which also featured Brent Spiner? Sorry, I say courtroom drama, courtroom sitcom.
Was it? This is a guess.
Wasn't big in the UK, but I became aware of it because Brent was in it, and fans keep talking about it.
Oh, look at that. Yes, Dave. Get in
We
there.
have 3 answers.
They're
They're
dead,
all the
Dave.
same. So if they're right, we're gonna have a spin of the wheel.
Yeah,
He was
we
in the
need
New
to know.
Adventures of Superman. Ah. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't consider it a courtroom sitcom, but all right.
I
Good to know.
only know Night Court because Mr.
Did you see-
Mr. Plinkett?
Sorry, go on.
Mr. Plinkett was a big fan.
Yes.
In Red Letter
Oh, okay.
Media's videos. That's why they're
Nice.
always trying to fix his TV. It's because he wants to watch
Oh, right.
reruns of Night Court all night long. That's the only
Can-
reason I
if
know
you,
it.
in Superman, what's his name? Riker, Jonathan Frakes. there's an episode where he's wearing the Superman suit. It looks so weird. You can
Jonathan
maybe,
Frakes is wearing
maybe
the
Google
Superman
it there. Jonathan Frakes in Superman. He's actually in the
Hang on a minute.
in one of the episodes. I don't know what the plot was, but he was wearing it.
There's another courtroom.
Oh my god.
That Brent Spiner was in, but I've not been able to find it, where he's like a lawyer in the background while they're interrogating some 15-year-old. I can't remember that one.
Oh yeah, that'll do. I found it.
He also Frakes also played Captain America in personal appearances before he got famous. You can probably find that too if you really want.
No,
Wow.
I think that's traumatizing enough.
Yeah, he's in good shape, but that suit is not forgiving. You have to be absolutely ripped to be wearing it, and he's not.
It's not really that forgiving on Dean Cain, to be fair.
No,
He had a lot of help.
but
He had padding and a compression suit, and probably had a little bit of chemical help.
yeah, there you go. Anyway, there he is, Jonathan Frakes as Superman. Who knew? Good evening, G-Star. Well done, sir. Congratulations on your video going sort of semi-viral again, or at least giving the channel a bit of a boost, which is good news.
More subs, more subs.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave, if you haven't subscribed, please do. More subs, more subs.
And if you could,
What you gotta do?
like button, smash that like button. That's what you're saying.
Oh, smash the like button.
Smash the
oh,
like
I haven't
button.
done that. Oh,
Smash the like button.
I
Oh,
smashed
no.
it. I've done it now.
Smashy.
Okay, well, we may as well finish up the question while we
Yeah,
move
go
on
on
because
then.
everyone got it.
So-
So everyone got the first one, and there is Tavi, yourself, Dave,
Ooh.
and
Ruth.
Ruth went into it as well. Yeah, Tavi, yourself, Dave, and Ruth.
4 people for the spinning of the wheel.
Yeah, I did say Tavi. Yeah.
Toby, Monty, Ruth, Dave. Was that it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Right. So who's going to get those important bonus points? Let's spin the wheel.
It should be my points. It's a Brent Spiner-esque. Do it! Do it!
Oh, Monkey Man gets the extra point.
Not that I'm competitive or anything, but that's great. I'll even cheer myself. Yay. Sorry, Tavi. It was looking like a win for you then for a minute.
Yeah, unlucky.
But yes. Act 2.
Thanks, Dave. He did the subscribe. Thank you, Dave.
We're on to Act 2 already. This is flying by this evening. Okay, so... sorry?
Dave, you have to prepare yourself. I do reach obscene volumes at random points in the show. So if you have this in your headphones, I'm sorry.
If you
And
see...
sometimes she's just obscene.
Sometimes... If we get a lot of Picard, if we get a lot of data pictures, Tavi can get a little bit hot under the collar and get a bit enthusiastic. Do you get a consolation prize? Unfortunately, no TNG points for you on that one, Dave. But you did get some for B, so you did well.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so Lwaxana and Alexander meet in Troy's office because Alexander's early for his appointment because he wanted to leave his quarters before Worf got off his shift. Alexander is upset because he thinks Worf only cares about the rules and he doesn't care about him. So Lwaxana decides to throw the rules out the window and take Alexander to the holodeck. They go to the holodeck and Lwaxana asks for the parallax colony from the ship's computer. It's one of those rare times that Majel Barrett is talking to herself because, of course, she plays Lwaxana and the ship's computer. So, yeah, she has a bit of a conversation with herself.
Yeah, there's another episode, Manhunt, where that happens. But, yeah, I think later on when she says, I think your computer's having a nervous breakdown, it kind of makes it a double meaning, seeing as it is sort of having a bit of a dual personality issue.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, yes, they enter the holodeck and they meet a variety of characters. The first one being what Lwaxana calls the Wind Dancer, which is just a head that's kind of pulls funny faces. And have you got any facts about the head that pulls funny faces?
Yeah. So this is Larry.
I was shocked to learn this one. This shocks
Larry
me.
Hankin.
Yeah.
So this was actually not filmed for this episode. Is that what you mean?
Well, no, just that it was him.
Oh, that it was Larry Hankin. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, this all of this wasn't part of this episode. It was filmed for Next Generation Imaginary Friend, and then added into this.
Ah. But yes, and what else has he been in?
I can't remember.
He was the
He's uncredited.
He's the grumpy old neighbour in Friends.
Oh,
Mr.
Heckles.
Mr. Heckles. He's Mr. Heckles in Friends.
That makes sense, yeah.
He was also in Voyager in Sandrine's. He was the pool player. So it was like, just to let you know, this table always leans to the east or whatever.
The pool
it is,
hustler in Voyager, yes.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. There's the pool hustler, the gigolo, etc. But he's the hustler,
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just surprised that was him, because he always plays such kind of like miserable characters or whatever. It just seems funny to see him pulling those weird, funny faces. Yeah, so that was him. They then meet a fire breather that breathes fire of geometric shapes, a juggler who juggles balls that he calls his worlds and invites them to the laughing hour. Then they also meet some white-haired friends who like to argue because, that's what friends do. And they meet an orange man who's preaching orange man. He's
But making America great again, or
he has got some crazy hair. So
yeah, very orange skin.
The higher, the fewer.
The higher. So yes, he wants to know the lesson of the day, and the answer seems to be the higher, the fewer. So Alexander attempts to use that newfound knowledge and end the white-hair couple's disagreement by telling them the higher, the fewer. But they just look at him kind of confused.
Yeah, not just them.
Albie Selznick, the juggler, appeared in Voyager. He was a TAC consul in Macrocosm, was also in Conspiracy, was also a choreographer for the Ventu in Natural Law. So 3 episodes of Voyager this guy was in. Yeah. And also the white-haired one, the smaller lady one, is Holiday Freeman, who later became a recurring... she's in about 13 other episodes, and I think she's just sort of bridge command crew, or like command crew or something. Right. So she just wears red, but she's in a few other episodes and also in Deep Space Nine and Voyager a few times. So yeah.
Yes, Dave. Unfortunately, Worf does kill the bubble guy. He murders him by punching him in the face. Sad times for the bubble guy. Meanwhile,
I don't.
Sorry, go on, Tav.
No, I was just saying the scene when it comes to the holodeck. I don't know if it's just my autism or whatever, but the scene really unnerved me and disturbed me. That entire place I found maddening, frightening, and just alarming.
Okay, don't ever watch the Thaw from Voyager. Just don't.
Yeah, it's kind of
weird.
It's very much like this, but
basically
a lot scarier.
Atlan traps a load of people in a simulation and kills them to try to get out. It is creepy as all hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very much like this, like a court jester, stuff, all kind of acrobatics going on. And if you're not happy and have good thoughts, like he'll kill your body in reality. It's horrible. Horrible episode.
Yeah.
In the wrong light, though, in the wrong circumstances, that would be terrifying, wouldn't it, if it come flying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mr. Wolf is cleaning up Alexander's stuff in his quarters when Troi arrives, and they both look at each other and go, "Okay, where's Alexander?" Worf checks computer reports that he's in holodeck 2. And Troi realizes it's her mother. He's with her mother. Back in the holodeck, Lwaxana has taken Alexander to a mud bath with the old orange guy, and the two arguing friends and the juggler. And they drink from edible cups, and then they bring on the entertainment, which is a semi-naked painted lady who dances.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit much for a child. So
It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, naked mud bath, load of adults, and yeah, it's a bit of an odd one.
It's odd.
no, it's like
Whole bunch of continuity errors in the mud bath.
Oh, is there?
It's like Lwaxana's hand goes muddy, then not muddy, then muddy, then not muddy. It's like depending on what the camera angle is, and the cups get variously eaten and not uneaten throughout.
I did notice that it went from like when you looked at Alexander from the front, it had like one bite at it, and then when it went from the side, it was like the whole top was eaten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of weird looking mud as well. It looks really like gunk tanky, like
yeah, it looks
gelatinous, less mud-like and more like
Yeah.
brown jelly.
It looks
Yeah,
like
well,
it
I'm
has-
sure there's some powdered mud you get from Hollywood props or some such crap.
Yeah.
Like, they make it up and you put different colors in it.
Yeah. So Worf and Deanna.
You know, there's one guy who's just cornered the whole market in mud,
in
called
mud in
Hollywood
Hollywood,
mud or something.
yeah.
It's called Hollywood Mud, and he's the guy you always go to.
He's just basically he's got a small quarry in his back garden, and he just takes the stuff up in wheelbarrows. Charges him like 10 grand a wheelbarrow.
Yep,
Goes
Hollywood
off on-
pricing.
rashes.
Okay, so yes, Worf and Deanna are, enter the holodeck and are greeted by the wind dancer, but as Dave so rightly mentions, he punches him in the face and quite literally bursts his bubble. And then they find Lwaxana and Alexander, and Lwaxana invites Mr. Wolf to join them in the mud, but he doesn't look amused by any of it.
I haven't looked this up, but I think, judging by that little triangular light panel at the top, I think that was reused from the Packlet bridge. It might be that little triangular kind of
Triangular bit might be.
Yeah. That wouldn't surprise me.
It is a reuse of some various places. I noticed somewhere along here. Oh yeah, in Violations, it was a morgue. See these panels here?
Oh yeah. You see them in Voyager, same ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and they get used here. I don't know what that was, but suspicions. But yeah, I don't know about the Packlet bridge, but I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's just kind of a kit bash or a set bash, if you want to call it that.
And that
Speaking
was,
of tactics, I am always wondering what happened to the ship that Lore was on when he said he got into it with a group of Packlets, and I'm like, what happened?
yeah, I'd like to see that as a short story. Yeah, so that was the end of Act 2. So Sean, it's competition time.
It is indeed. So the question for Act 2, unfortunately, you never. What is the first shape we see the Fire Shaper make?
Ooh.
So you did actually show it, but did you remember it? So it's A, an X, B, an O, C, a square, or D, a triangle, E, a star.
It should have been G a star. G star.
Oh, that would have been good. That would have been good. Sorry.
Oh dear. It is.
I definitely would have gotten that. Well, no, I'm going to say that comment after this.
Well,
So
Maz
this-
has gone D. Dave's gone D. Ruth has surprised us with a D. Tammykins is D. And I've gone D. Absolutely not copying everybody else.
What's strange is you
bit of-
guys haven't talked about the D pick from the beginning. Was it that underwhelming?
Oh, what, the Enterprise D pick?
Yeah, it was-
Well, I
we've
mean,
seen it
the
before.
other D picks are better, but you can.
There
put
was
the
a good
Enterprise.
D pick. Not that one.
Woo!
Not that one. That one. This
That was
was
all right.
this was newly shot for this episode.
I
Yeah,
thought
lighting is good.
Of it passing these asteroids and it being glittered on. It was a pretty good shot that was created for this episode. So I was pretty pleased
like
with that shot, I have to say.
I like how the darkness was on the back. It looked like the ship at night.
It does look good. It looks quite dark in this episode. Looks pretty good, especially in the HD Blu-ray version.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to jump to the just straight to the bonus question because everyone put in D. So yeah, and covered in D's. Triangle was correct.
Hey.
Mazza again carrying the whole crowd. So the floating head also played a role in Friends as Monica and Rachel's downstairs neighbours who dies while sweeping. What was the character's name? Unfortunately, you did talk about it, so the question is out there, but that's just the way that goes.
I brought up the role and Maz came out with the answer, but now I can't remember what the name was.
I'm not going to put it in until you have a guess.
Oh God!
Because I'm mean like that.
I was sweeping yesterday. Could have been me.
It's like
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chandler.
Yeah, not only did Mazza say it,
I can't
Monty,
remember.
you said it back to her. So you both
I
said
did.
you went blank, that's right.
Yeah, I did.
Shall I put you out of your misery?
Yeah, I won't copy you. Oh, thank you, Ruth. Ruth's put me out of my misery by heckling. It's Heckles. It is Mr. Heckles. Well done, Ruth.
It's
Well
funny
done,
when you
Maz.
set a question and you think it's going to be nice and obscure, and then everyone just talks about it before you get to it. You're like, all right.
And I can talk about
Never
it,
mind.
and I still can't answer the bloody thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. In a Thunderdome scenario, who would you bet on, Neelix or Wesley?
Wesley. Well, are we talking TNG Wesley or like Traveler Wesley? Because Traveler Wesley is,
A bit more
like
badass.
sell you a caravan and can travel through time and stuff. So, but
Well, I
if
mean,
it's
Traveler Wesley is also kind of TNG Wesley because that's how he ends up, isn't he?
yeah, but he's basically a god now. Whereas he was just an uppity young fella before he was a Mary Sue. I don't know. Neelix is probably more devious, but Wesley's cleverer. So it's kind of that caveman versus spaceman argument. It's kind of hard to say.
I don't know how strong Neelix is. Is he strong for an alien, or is he?
Well, he does kill the traitor, the one that's given the secrets to the Kazon. He throws him into the warp core. He has a big fight with him.
Yeah. He holds.
So he
his
has
own
killed.
there. I'd go Neelix.
Yeah,
So would
he's
I.
probably.
He's a
I mean, he
bigger
seems
man.
really kindly, but I reckon put in the right situation, he could go pretty feral on somebody.
He's got
that
some
has-
heft
Yeah,
to him
he-
as well, hasn't he?
He'd be willing to fight dirty, whereas Wesley wouldn't. So yeah, I'd probably go Neelix.
Right, so I've got 3 names for my. Not me, unfortunately.
Ruth, Mazza, and Stuplum.
Stoop, Ruth, and Maz. But who's going to win? That's the question. Who's going to get those important points?
Wheel of morality, turn, turn, turn. Show us the lesson that we should learn.
Wow,
It's
very poignant.
I remember that.
Stuplum!
That's Animaniacs, Maz. Or Tav.
well done, Stoopum.
So at the moment, it's pretty close. We have Stuplum, myself, and Montyban all having been recipients of bonus points on 130 so far. Closely behind is Ruth with 120. Oh, and Tavi with 120. And then close behind that is Andrew and Dave with 100 points.
Yeah. It's all very close then.
Really
all very
close.
this week. Yeah. Okay, so we're on to Act 3. And picture. We're in Lwaxana's quarters. And Deanna's there and asks her mother to stop undermining her by sending Alexander mixed messages. Lwaxana points out that she's been exposing Deanna to all sorts of mixed messages at that age, but she turned out deadly dull, so I'm sure it'll be fine. That's nice, isn't it? Telling your daughter you're deadly dull.
I'm gonna have to say she has a great rack, and the cleavage on that dress was. I was like, "Damn, Mama, get it!"
In fact, she's got a lot of. I know she's always got, outfit changes in an episode, but in this episode especially, like every scene, she's wearing something completely and utterly different. And
different hair.
And
there's a
different
reason
hair.
Gene Roddenberry left his wife. And I mean, he was chasing many a secretary. Magel's the one that caught his eye and he stayed with.
I think as
She must
well,
have been doing something.
you can tell we're leaving kind of old TNG era behind and we're getting towards Deep Space Nine era, because a lot of the outfits in that are the sort of like designs and materials and things you'd see in Deep Space Nine on like alien
Yeah, they
costumes.
get into the Space Cosby sweater stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tiana asks about the wedding and why Lwaxana isn't absorbed in the preparations, but Lwaxana claims that Mr. Hom's taking care of it all. She also admits that she'll be wearing the chap's mother's wedding dress, which shocks Deanna because it's not something Lwaxana would have considered in the past, but not having a Betazoid wedding. Which, of course, we know what that is. Be in the nutty.
I guess the older you get, the less you wed or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Lwaxana asks the replicator for gestural tea, but instead gets, I don't know what she said it was, Petrosian sausages. She takes the sausages out and actually drinks the sausage juice in the cup, which
gross.
is really gross. It really grossed me out. I was like,
But
no!
those are. I hope there was a cut there and it's a different glass because they were raw sausages.
It's not a cut. You actually see her take the sausages out, like dripping, and she just drinks it in one shot.
Yeah, that's raw
It's
sausage
good to
water.
see that
That's-
she's up for taking a raw sausage.
Again, you know, she did live all that time, but no. So, yeah. In engineering, Data and Geordie are investigating the replicator issue, and other things start going wrong. Oh, yeah.
Look at him.
Look at those shoulders, eh? Look at them. Other things start going wrong in the utility access corridor, so Geordie and Data go and take a look. It looks like pee. It does
Yeah,
look...
it did.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Gross.
Wait, did you not
Sausage
get a
tea.
photo? Did you not get a photo of them going through the Jeffries tubes?
Yeah, I think we do have one. Let's... Oh, no, I don't. I take a picture of the goo instead.
Are you serious, Monty?
Oh, God. I've got to go find it now.
Data is wearing the lore jumpsuit.
Yeah, he is indeed.
There you
There we
go.
go.
Oh my God, yes.
See, I find it for you. There you go.
Thank you. He is delicious. Look at that schnoz.
Yeah, there they are.
Oh.
So they finally...
And
Oh, go on. Go on.
I'm sorry. You can continue. I'm
You
sorry
want,
to
you want some
salivate.
more? There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
that's a great D pick right there. Those are the D picks I love.
Wookie says, same scenario, Locutus versus Robocop. Anyway.
Oh, Robocop any day.
I'll let you think about that. Whilst they find the access panel, they open it up, and goo pours out.
yeah, Odo comes straight out of it.
Yeah. They've got a shapeshifter on board.
Mm,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Lwaxana's not happy about her wedding dress. She tries to persuade Mr. Hom to adjust various aspects, but Hom refuses. He's not having any of it. He thinks this is as good as it's going to get. Then Alexander comes to visit, and Lwaxana's pleased to see her little warrior again. Alexander apologizes for getting her into trouble. And he wants to know why she's getting married, and Lwaxana confides in him that she's getting old. And she's afraid that she'll be old and alone, so she's learning to compromise.
It's kind of poignant that she was giving that speech only a few months after Gene Roddenberry died.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
And there were like some fans who thought that was sort of a pseudo,
Nod.
biographical sort of or autobiographical nod to how she was feeling, but it's quite sweet in a way.
She did look like she was actually touched
Feeling
by
it.
the line.
On the bridge, Geordie reports that they found goo. We found goo in multiple systems.
That's a scouting song, isn't it?
Yeah. Then systems start falling apart, including inertial dampeners and helm control, and they start getting buffeted about the bridge. And that's the end of Act 3.
We found Gooly 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 Watcher. We found goo.
Question time.
Where are we? Question time.
Act 3.
Now, what does Lwaxana order from the replicator? A. Tea Earl Grey hot. B. Lady Grey. C. Gestural tea. D. Kestrel tea. E. Steamed bananas.
I
Don't
know
have
that
this
one.
written down, but I'm gonna just try from
I
memory.
know this one because I said it a moment ago.
He did say it. Yeah.
Oh, looks like I got it wrong. Oh, wow, oops.
Dave was listening, and
Good on you, Dave. So I don't know if you mentioned this at the top of
that's
the.
assuming I got it right when I said it a minute ago.
I don't know if you said at the beginning of this, but the concept of this episode was around the whole what's it called again? Anti is it Mame or Mamie? I don't know if anybody knows. It was like a 1950s book that was turned into a film, and it was about this child who was sent off to live with his auntie, who was like a free spirit, and they start this kind of older lady, little child, really close friendship, and that was kind of part of what this was supposed to be about. So yeah, obviously that's but it's everybody was talking about this anti-Mame thing like it was everybody knew about it, but I've never heard of it personally. Yeah, so that was one of the prefaces. In this last scene, Deanna recites Lwaxana's titles. It's the first time Deanna ever does, and this isn't a bonus question, is it, Sean?
No.
She leaves out one of the titles.
Yeah.
She leaves out the daughter of the fifth house.
Oh, she says that the holder of the holy chalice of Rix.
Yeah.
The holy rings of bed is a daughter of the fifth house she misses.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. I think we have all the answers in, so I'll give the bonus question. The Mr. Hom actor, Carol Stroiken, previously starred in what 1991 film alongside Christina Ricci and Christopher Lloyd?
Oh no. I don't know. Oh. I hope it wasn't like 2 or.
No, although he was in that too. In fact, he was the only the actor to come back for the third made-for-TV sequel. The rest of them didn't do it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he was basketball tall. He was 6'7" or something. 2 meters.
He was very tall.
And 2 meters 5, whatever it was in metric. He was dude was big. I mean, he was Dutch, but even for Dutch, he was really tall. Although I quite like being anywhere near Holland, like getting in a chair and on a bus or, on a train or in a cafe. Everything is the right size for me. It's very unusual. You can go into a shop and just buy jeans. You don't have to buy them from some website called Big Dude. You can just walk into a shop and buy them. It's amazing. It's a great country. Need to go there more often.
But he does a really
I'm
good
not even
job.
that tall. I'm just that little bit too tall to be able to buy jeans in normal shops. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, he does a really good job of playing Cousin It. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay, so for the question 4, Sean, we've had a
lot of D's and a lot of C's.
C's and D's. C, D, C, D, C,
Yes,
D,
it
D.
was It was gestural tea. Yes, C.
Gestural tea.
Yeah. It
Bummer.
wasn't.
Not
Okay.
kestrel
And
tea. Yeah.
for no points at all, did anyone get the steamed bananas reference?
No.
Well, in an episode of Lower Decks, the replicators malfunction. They start spitting out steamed bananas. And then later on, it happens again in Discovery.
Oh.
So it's both Discovery and Lower Decks reference. I don't know if you have one for Discovery there, Tavi, but if you do, by all means, mark it on your card.
Yeah, she's also done you for rambling, so we've gotten that one on our cards.
That wasn't a ramble.
Maybe it
That
was
was
the
quite
big
to the
and tall
point, I
clothes thing or something.
Oh, yes. Okay, you got me. Oh, you did catch me rambling. Sorry, okay. Like a man in orthopedic shoes, I stand corrected.
I believe Dave. I believe
Oh,
he did
dad
play
joke,
Lurch.
dad joke.
He did play Lurch.
Cool
Yes.
dad joke.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Sean's getting them all in now.
You missed
was
talking
wondering-
about that cup earlier, though. I was waiting for that one.
I
Never
did,
mind.
and I still have my own copy of that cup, and I left it with my sister, so I'll have to get it the next time I'm up there. But I do have the one with the black
Yours
handle.
is
I
the
don't like
black
the
one,
one with
not
the
the
white
white one, right?
one. I don't like the white one. The white one looks tacky.
Right. So
Are
how
you
many
talking about
names?
teacups again?
Yeah, they're Bodum is the brand. I forget
How many
the name of the
names?
particular cup.
How many names do I need to put on this wheel?
Du-du-du-du.
Oh, 3.
3.
It would be Tavi, Monty, and Ruth got Adam's family.
Du-du-du-du. Du-du-du-du.
Oh no.
Du-du-du-du. Du-du-du-du.
Actually, no. Dave got it as well.
Oh, we have
Dave
Dave.
got
Or,
But
Sorry.
he said he played Lurch, so we'll
I'll accept that. Yeah,
let
that's
you
good
have
enough.
that one. Right, spin the wheel.
You missed that one, Mazza, did you?
Yeah. I mean, once people said, I kind of realised, but I didn't know
Yeah.
until then. So
I know
don't like
Christina
trick
Ricci
coffee.
was kind of the giveaway, but yeah, fair enough.
Dave got the additional point. Well done,
nice.
Dave.
Well done, Dave. The wheel is a bit of a slut tonight. I mean, it's going every direction.
It's putting itself about.
So
Yeah,
Monty
yeah, a little
Band,
bit.
you'll be pleased to hear because myself and was it Ruth or Stuplum, whoever was even with you, both got that last question wrong. So you've pulled into the lead now with 210 points. Tabby's nipping at your heels with 200, and then Dave is now in third with 190. The rest of us are all kind of trailing a bit.
I'm actually getting nervous because I think this is the first time I've been in the lead in the competition for seasons. It's probably been
Nice.
years.
Somebody might get the Kanyo this week.
Yeah. Right, Act 4. Act 4. Right, so they finally managed to get their backup systems to kick in and regain control of the ship. So Picard calls a conference in the observation lounge. Geordi reports that the backup systems have suffered the same transformation into goo issues that the replicators and other systems have faced. But all these systems are unrelated and sensors haven't detected anything. So they're investigating what the goo is. Then they get word that Campio is beaming on board. It's not really a good idea, is it, when all your systems is turning to goo, that you can't even get inertia dampeners, under control to be accepting royalty dignitaries from another. It's like,
Yes.
put that off.
Yeah. I didn't even tell them that there was any risk. It's
No.
cheeky.
Yeah, and then they're going to impulse, they're going to warp. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. So inertial dampeners, you can't just accelerate from 0 to the speed of light in half a second, and without there just being a huge splat of everyone on the back wall.
You'll end up being
no,
goo.
they're like, oh, just go to impulse. It's like, okay, just go from nothing to the quarter of the speed of light in 5 seconds. Yeah, you can't do that. Like, just
Yeah.
everyone will be dead. They're dead, Dave.
They're dead,
They're all
Dave.
dead.
They're all
They are
dead.
dead, Dave.
Oh, would that be? I don't know if Tavi knows, but that was a Red Dwarf reference.
Oh, that was a Red Dwarf.
Everybody dead is dead, Dave. They're dead, Dave.
I sneak in a
And if
little
I said,
Red
all
Dwarf-
right, Dave, that would be an Only Fools reference. But anyway.
I sneak in a little Red Dwarf reference in a minute, actually. Funny enough.
Oh, nice.
Coinky dinkley. I see Dave was happy to have gotten the spin of the wheel there. He was
Yeah.
He cheered.
Woohoo!
Live chat.
I've given voice to your cheer, Dave.
Yeah. Yes, so they go to meet Campio. I wouldn't really recommend taking a transporter beam on this ship at the moment, because you never know what the transporter is going to do. You beam in on one thing and you end up as sausages on the transporter pad. So, that's pretty brave. He doesn't even know he's being brave, but it's pretty brave.
Hey, you never know. You might get installed with a larger sausage.
Maybe they didn't look like this when they started off. Yeah, maybe the transporters did that to their ears. I don't know. So Campio arrives in the transporter room and Lwaxana is there to greet him. They exchange pleasantries and Lwaxana, being the friendly little minx that she is, goes in for a kiss. But Campio's protocol assistant, Eriko, puts his hand in the way.
Eriko the Jerko.
Eriko the Jerko, yeah. Yeah. Picard enters and apologises for being late, and Lwaxana introduces him and Deanna, and Campio thanks the captain, though ignores his handshake, as it appears they don't much like physical contact. Dave likes Campio's dress. It's pretty smart, isn't it? For a TNG era alien costume.
Yeah, it's almost Indian.
Yeah.
Although with shoulder pads, but yeah, like an Indian formal dress is much like that.
It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, although kind of not quite Romulan, but kind of in that way.
Yeah, it does look a little. It could be Romulan, couldn't it? Like a casual.
It could have been from a test of various different costumes for Romulans, and decided not to use it and use it for something else. It's very possible.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll tell you a Brent Spiner fact. When they were deciding what color Data was going to be, they put him through something like 16 color tests, and he was pink, and he was red, and he was orange, and he was all these different colors. And anyway, they showed Gene Roddenberry the first one in gold, and went, "That's perfect, thanks." And Brett was there for 2 days getting makeup taken on and off. Literally, the first one went, "That's fine, leave it like that." That was the end of it.
Imagine if he'd ended up purple or something; it just wouldn't have been the same.
But they ran all the colors, and he should have been in red, in command red. He was in yellow because it suited the makeup better.
I wish they'd have had like a photo shoot of each one, just so that
Oh, they do. They have some test footage from TNG, and Geordi has like a jerry curl, and he has a different visor. It's very 80s.
I haven't seen it. You have to send me that, Sean. I've been looking for his different makeup colors, because I think he was talking about once that one he was like they even had him in pink. Brent Spiner was at least.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, Sean's accidentally cancelled himself by being racist against Native Americans. But,
No, he wasn't. It wasn't that kind of Indian.
Oh dear, that's funny.
It's funny.
Okay.
We love you, Wookie. You're so funny.
That's very good. I am. I've lost where I am. Campio introduces Eriko, the stick in the mud, who will be making sure protocols are followed so they don't get carried away by the moment. Oh, what a joy that boy is to have around. On the bridge, Geordi finds common element between the affected systems, and it is that they all contain nitrium. And the systems that have been affected have all had their nitrium removed or metabolized. So it looks like they have a nitrium parasite on board that's consuming nitrium and pooing out goo.
I thought it was strange that they did not mention that that stuff that they was spilling around was shit.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. The way this episode started and me playing and shit, it caught my attention.
Well, since you don't watch much Star Trek, there is an episode. There is the Admiral in Discovery. They're eating something out of the replicator, and he just goes, "You're eating shit, right?"
Yeah, the lady pulls the food out of her now. I think isn't she Orion?
Yeah. It's like, well, it's recreated. Well, I suppose all food is. I mean, you put shit on the ground, you grow apple trees, the apples come down. Basically, you're eating shit.
Same thing. Same thing.
Pretty much.
Mm. Okay. Have we had enough of Data? Have you stared at him longingly, Tavi?
No, it's not enough. That's a nice view.
It's not enough of him in this episode for you, is there, really?
No, I'm going into withdrawal. There has not been enough Data for the past few episodes, and I'm about to get an attitude. I was about to call tonight off. Be like, look, I'm not in the mood tonight. You guys just three hosted up. Can't do it. I have needs.
You have needs.
Yeah, and I will make it a threesome. Do you even hear yourself?
He's back. He's gone again. Okay, so in Mr. Wolf's quarters, Alexander is taking Lwaxana's lessons in happy wisdom seriously and is in the middle of his happy hour. Ha!
Ha!
Ha! Worf thinks this is his eating hour. Ha! But just wants him to eat his dinner. Ha! Yeah. But Alexander says he promised to meet Lwaxana, and as warriors don't break their promises, Alexander looks at his dad face to face and tells him the higher, the fewer, and walks out.
I did thought that was Pip, though. He just did that, just dipped out of that room. Like,
it was brave. I'll give him that. He's a brave little warrior.
I don't know if you all watched the U.S. Office. Everyone see the U.S. Office?
Yeah, no, I think I did a while back.
Okay. Well, anyway, there's a scene in it, and there's a promotion going, and a couple of different people go for it. But one guy comes in and he goes, "No," and basically it's one Star Trek nerd to another Star Trek nerd. And he goes, "No, you're giving it to me. I've just Kobayashi Maru'd the whole process." And he walks out and he just goes, "Damn it!" He gets the job. I've cheated, therefore I win. Good luck.
Tavikins. Dave is from the same city as Brent Spiner.
I know. I am now engaged.
In Texas.
They probably sound similar. They might have grown up like streets apart.
Yeah, like he's 12 years old. Yeah, so were you there when he was working at that theme park or whatever that like weird, was it a theme park? I think that's the earliest like photos I have of him. He's like working part-time at a theme park in
wow.
What city is that? Without doxing Dave, what city is that?
The Astro World. Yes.
Astro World.
Yeah, you go to Astro World.
There you go.
Yeah, Dave said earlier he was from Texas, now living in Huddersfield.
So, Dave, with a name like Dave Pratt, I just assumed you were English, but never mind.
No.
Houston, Texas.
I don't know if you British folks know this, but you managed to work your way around the world. So I don't know how you.
We did proliferate somewhat.
Yeah, we did. It happened. It was a thing. Yeah.
Well, you think about like, the Irish. We didn't invade
for ever since.
We didn't invade. We infested. You know, the tiny little island with 5 million people. Yeah, you go to America, it's 330 million people, and about a quarter of them say they have Irish ancestry. So you figure that one out. 5 million people in our island. There's 65 or 70 million Irish passports out in the world. You know, we get around. Yeah, well, there's no such thing as condoms in Catholicism, so you know, they just we got on with it.
Yeah.
My father is one of 10. One of my father's cousins is one of 16. Another one of my father's cousins is one of 18. Yeah, it's ridiculous. My father had like 100 cousins.
I think the reason for that, Dave, is that we've all grown up watching American television. So I think my generation have probably slightly developed a Friends-inspired American twang right now. Yeah. I grew up watching the Muppets and stuff, you know, and it's just like, hey, you're talking like this.
But some Americans are getting it real good these days, though. I watched something with, I can't remember the actor name, but the guy who plays Winston from New Girl, and he's in a I think it's a fairly recent film with Jason Statham, and he's got such a convincing British accent. I was like, is he actually British? Was he British all along? And I looked it up. I'm like, no, he's American through and through. It's just a really convincing accent.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so Alexander's just walked out on him like a baller. So In Lwaxana's quarters, Lwaxana and Campio are in discussions. Lwaxana wants to go play with Alexander, but Eriko's determined that this is the time for them to sit down and start making their arrangements. Lwaxana refuses to break her promise to Alexander, and while she's at it, addresses Campio by his name, which annoys Eriko, as women should not address the man by or be familiar, and she should address him by his ministerial title. Which I guess is sort of similar to herself, really. She goes announcing to everyone who she is in a very formal way. But yeah.
Which is quite happily to be addressed as Lwaxana.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll say quickly. She's quite happy to be addressed as Lwaxana, not Mrs. Troi, not Ambassador Troi.
Correct.
She's Lwaxana to everybody. So, her on her side, it's fine. Sorry, Tavi.
I thought it was strange in this episode that they were having so many cultural clashes. Because I'm thinking, I thought you guys were all up in each other's profiles. Did he not know that you guys show up naked? Did you not know this? And this weird exchange here is very strange to me. So it's did you not?
Well, she knew that they were sticklers for their traditions, so that's why she was saying to Deanna earlier, "I'm not going to be able to do those traditions because that's not their way." And she was kowtowing to what she knew he was going to tell her to do.
I think that's kind
which isn't really in keeping with her character, right?
I think that's kind of, I don't want to say her kink, but she gets a thrill out of it. Of rubbing people the wrong way and being informal and being outrageous or breaking taboos. Yeah. She did it constantly her entire life. So marries a guy who's supposed to die and then tries to stop him doing it. Marries this guy who's really stuck up.
Gets it on with her Ferengi captor.
Yeah. Just also literally just a rule breaker and a very free spirit, a hippie basically. Which is fitting for her age, given she was, I suppose at early 20s in the 60s. That's kind of about right.
Meza had to remind me about the Ferengi incident.
Yeah.
So they're about to walk out and go to the holodeck when they are stopped by Mr. Worf and Deanna. Worf protests. I protest. That is not that he's not a merry man. He protests that it's Alexander's dinner hour and he'll be coming with him. Campio protests that her walking out is unacceptable. Troi protests that Lwaxana is undermining her. Alexander protests that this is all unfair. And whilst they're all arguing about it, Lwaxana and Alexander make their escape to the holodeck. Data and LaForge track down the energy fluctuation.
There he is in his red makeup.
Wonder why he looked like a red. Yeah.
And a red uniform.
You don't have to turn out the red light.
Spock was originally going to be red, but they didn't go with it for two reasons. First one is that combined with the pointy ears, he'd look like the devil. And secondly, most people still had black and white TVs, so he'd look black on television and people were racist. So, for those reasons, they changed it to yellow, make him look more oriental, as they called it back in the day.
Yeah, that was one thing.
Speaking of racist, it has occurred to me that Alexander's kind of in blackface, right?
That's why I just brought up this picture.
Yeah. I mean, I know series where they've had whole episodes, taken off the air, even for wearing blackface and saying blackface is wrong. But that's what he's basically doing, right? Because they made him the same color as Worf.
The thing is, you do get white-colored Klingons, and you get, all sorts of. Now, Worf is a black Klingon, and so they've made. I mean, this actor, the guy who plays, he's blonde. He's blonde pale and as pale as you can possibly be. So,
well, I can say because I happen to see it somewhere. Because I'm enough of a nerd. Occasionally, footage comes up of various cons and various panels that people do, and one was with Michael Dorn. And I remember someone asking him the question: does it make you uncomfortable, or should I feel uncomfortable that effectively doing blackface to be a Klingon? And his opinion was, look, you're being a Klingon. You're not trying to, be a black and white minstrel or a gollywog or any other of those negative stereotypes they're trying to move away from. So as far as he was concerned, it wasn't a problem. So if it's okay by Michael Dorn, I think it should be okay by pretty much everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an alien. It's alien makeup at the end of the day, isn't it? Irrelevant.
Your play. Yeah, exactly.
Whether he's purple, red, blue, or whatever. But, yeah. Do we know what set this is? They're supposed to be in an auxiliary control room in engineering. And
all right.
Do you know
behind that secret door at the back? Is it that never opens?
Next to the warp core, behind the secret door at the back. Yeah, that's where they are. But where are they really?
Transporter room.
They're in the transporter room. Correct. It's a little alcove off to the side of the transporter.
Yeah,
pad.
it's the back bit. Yeah. The freezer grates give it away.
Yeah, you can. Thank you. Standard thing, but you can see the isolinear chips in the corridor and the grill here, and isolinear chips, the corridor and the grill. It's the transporter room lit by a red bulb. They changed the light bulb, and
well, they changed the back panels behind the freezer spacers as well. I love the way they have the exact same ones in Picard as well. I know I already said it, but it's just beautiful. They keep using them. They're perfect.
Yeah. So yes, they've trapped down an energy fluctuation behind an access panel, and when they remove it, the glitter fairy dust escapes, leaving behind some goo. Here's the glitter escaping, and there's the panel covered in goo. And that is
covered
the end
in
of
goo.
Act 4. Yeah.
Covered in shit.
All right, we must have some questions. So, what is the only metal common to the two systems affected? A. Neutronium. B. Nanopolymer. C. Neoserium. D. Nitrium.
I got it, I think. I've said it like 10 times, so if I don't get this, I'm in trouble.
So just while people are putting in answers, mine didn't press go. So Geordie said earlier that the residue was created by the parasites because the elements were being broken down into simpler molecular structures. So anybody who did sort of, chemistry knows that an element is pretty
Elemental.
much a simple structure.
Yeah.
You can break it down into protons and neutrons and electrons, but you can't break it. A molecule is actually made of multiple elements. So I don't know whether they got the sentence the wrong way around. It would be molecules being broken down into elements, not the other way around.
Yes.
Or they could say chemicals into molecules, but or molecules into less complicated molecules. But I could take a point. Fair point.
And they mentioned the type of metal earlier, and it's not real metal, as you probably know, but there is one that's similarly named, which was what sodium was based on as well, which is how sodium got its chemical number on the table.
Periodic table. Yeah.
I'll tell you another two random Picard facts about isolinear chips. Firstly, in the isolinear chips in Picard, there's a little blue square in the center. That is bioneural gel. So they've combined the bioneural gel and they've put it inside the isolinear chips. You never see it on screen, but the production design, the art directors have shown photos of it.
Yeah.
And two, they only made enough of them basically to dress one set at a time. So they had to bring them in and out, and to make sure nobody pocketed them, they had to count them and stuff. They were basically under armed guard because they were quite expensive to make. But back in the original series, the chairs they had on the bridge and the chairs they had in the Galileo or in all the meeting rooms, they only had 10 of them. So depending, they didn't have every time they had to dress a set, they had to move them from one set to another, and I just find that very funny. They couldn't afford extra plastic chairs. They only had 10 of them. God forbid if that one actually broke. So you couldn't fill something on the bridge set and something in Galileo at the same time. And okay, how we doing? Okay,
we
I didn't catch anyone with that one. Covered in D's.
Covered in
D's
D's
all over my face.
Dave said D, Terry said D, Monty said D, Ruth said D, Maz said D, Stuplum said D, Andrew said D.
Yeah.
Everyone said D.
100 points all around. There's always a chairs fact. Yes, you gave us another bingo one there on chairs. Nice.
Was there a bonus question?
When analysing materials, what station on the bridge is Geordie sitting?
Oh,
what station on the bridge?
Little person.
I can give you one of two hints, or I can give you none. I'll give you one. I can list what the stations are at the back of the bridge in order left to right, or I can tell you from left to right, from 1 to 5, what station he was sitting at.
What?
Yeah. So stations at the back, behind the horseshoe, on the back wall. I can tell you what each one of them is from left to right, or I can tell you which one he is sitting from left to right. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, okay. You can tell me the station.
I'm just going to
name.
guess.
Yeah.
Science Station 2.
Oh, you and Dave guessed the same thing.
Hey, well,
I don't even know what the stations are.
We'd either guessed really well, or I think it was the second one.
Let's see what everybody else says.
So I've guessed Science 1, Science 2, and then I think there's is it Environment 1 or?
Oh, it's Mission Ops.
Mission Ops.
Then Environment.
Environment and Engineering.
Engineering.
So I'm guessing it's Science 2 because I don't think it was on the end.
And I had to give out to Aaron Walke and Mike McMahon before, because in the episode of Kobayashi Maru in Prodigy, when Scotty's doing the engineering, he's sitting at environmental controls, not at engineering. And Odo isn't a tactical, he's a con. And everyone's at the wrong station, and it annoyed me so much. So I had to give out to all the producers of all the shows and go, stop getting Bond wrong. It was...
Ruth's gone middle, which is...
The middle station.
Well, 1 to 5, so you're going for number 3.
Which is, was it Operations? There's an Operations one.
The third station over is Mission Ops.
Mission Ops, yeah. Mission Ops. So what's the answer then?
Well, I have to say, Monty, yourself and Dave are bang on the money. It was Science 2.
Oh,
and you did show a shot of it if you go back a couple of screenshots.
Tabby Kins has snuck in a 2 there, look, as well. She wants to be on that wheel.
But I suppose it's just from a practical standpoint where they have the camera. If you're sitting at Science 1, you couldn't have the camera coming in from the side. If you go back a couple of screenshots, you did show it.
There.
Yeah, there you are. So obviously, if they had him at the first station, the angle of that shot wouldn't work. So they have him at Science 2.
Yeah, you can just see the corner of the first station.
I just did because Ruth took 3. I'm like, oh, that's usually the one I pick.
So it's going to be Dave, me, and Tavi. Right. Dave, I hope you win, Dave. I'm rooting for you, Dave.
Well, the wheel hasn't been anyone's friend.
He lies. He wants to win it himself.
For myself, Dave.
As long as Tavi don't win, I'm happy.
You shut your mouth, Monty.
Dave's got it.
Oh, Dave!
He's got it.
Dave.
Yes.
I just realised, as I said, I thought Dave was English, but of course, when I keep saying "all right, Dave," he has no idea what I'm talking about.
Dave says "woohoo" again.
He's probably missing the Red Dwarf references too, so never mind.
He probably is.
So Dave is now equal second with Tavi, just behind Monty Ban in first. So yeah, hotting up.
All hot, and we go into the yes, he understands the trigger reference. Yeah, Dave gets the joke.
Oh, nice. Yes. Sorry, Dave. Everyone, and everyone who called David for what John O'Sullivan, my namesake, did with coming up with that brilliant joke that's still funny 30 years later.
Okay, we're into the final act.
40 years later. Sorry, go on.
In the holodeck.
Guan, guan.
Go on.
Sorry.
Alexander's time. Lwaxana and Alexander's time is nearly up in the holodeck. The juggler is sad because he ate his own balls. Or should I say worlds?
Worlds, yeah.
Well, them artists, they're fair flexible, I mean, wouldn't surprise me.
It turns out you cannot have your worlds and eat them too.
If his nose is that long, God knows how long everything else is. So you make it work.
You just ruined my line. You can't have your worlds
Bollocks,
and eat them too.
Sorry.
Took me ages to come up with that one. I'll tell you what, he's got a hell of an upper body mass going on here, hasn't he? He's got an interest. I
think his shoulder pads just slipped down and fell off tragically.
I don't know, but maybe it's just that it takes you build a lot of upper body mass when you're playing with your balls, as much as he does.
I didn't think balls were that less sensitive, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's unhappy. Alexander points out that the man she's marrying doesn't look like the kind of guy that would take a mud bath. And he also apologizes again for trying to help Lwaxana. When Lwaxana notices the holodeck is starting to turn into goo. So it's probably best to leave. And here's a picture of the holodeck melting. And then we head back down to the auxiliary the auxiliary engineering room, aka transporter pad. And Picard pays a visit to the conduit that's turning into goo, and Geordi gives him the bad news about the nitrium parasites. Picard points out that the asteroid they destroyed at the beginning of the episode was heavy with nitrium, and that asteroid was from the Polaris asteroid belt field. So that's where they probably picked it up, so they decide to return there to drop the parasites back off. Picard asks Data how long it would be to get there, and Data says it'll be 5 hours 20 minutes at warp 9. The only issue is that the speed they are moving through the ship, the parasites that is, they may not actually make it. And as he says that, power fluctuations occur across the ship as Picard and Data head to the bridge. You should never get a lift, should you? When there's like emergencies going on in your building,
No, not so much.
When there's fires happening and everything's shaking, the last thing you're supposed to do is get into a lift. So, on their way up, Data comes up with the idea of using a particle beam to send a beam of nitrium that will hopefully lure the parasites back to their home in the asteroid field. But as they are travelling up the turbo shaft, they notice goo started dripping down the walls of the turbo lift, and weird things start happening, and the turbo lift stops, but the doors don't open. So Data pries the doors open, and luckily they're up the bridge. They enter
nice lanky long Data arms.
An evil scene with elevators. You just
It's not good to be in an elevator at the top of the building. You're at the bridge. You're at the very top, and the elevator is turning to goo. It's
not so much.
It's not so good, is it? They enter the bridge to find. Sorry, go on.
Did you notice the continuity error with the whole turbo lift thingy?
I did it or not? No.
Has it got any pictures of Picard in the turbo lift?
Well, we got that. Oh yeah, no, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, there we go.
I did.
He only had 3 pips.
That's just corn.
And then he bursts out through the door and he suddenly got 4 pips.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I didn't notice it on my viewing today, but I did notice it when I watched it with Smiler Rainbow earlier in the week. Yes, he's got 3 pips. There are 3 pips.
Yeah, what happens to Spock's rocket boots? Can they not just,
Yeah.
nice emergency?
So we got controversy.
It's
So
very catchy name, Spock's rocket boots.
Stu Plum has asked, does the Enterprise have stairs? Dave said Jeffrey's tubes, but no stairs. But I responded, funnily enough, Stu Plum, yes, they do, because last week wasn't Sean doing that walk around on what's that game thing?
Stage
and
9.
And there are some stairs like near some of the shuttle bays, and
We found stairs.
There are
in
some.
Shadow.
There are some, but
there aren't
you
hardly
can't-
any, and they're not featured in the series, are they? But
Yeah,
they are
but
part of
generally
the plans.
They well, although you don't see them in like a tall building style or skyscraper style of going up deck
It's
after
just like
deck.
almost like mezzanine sort of thing, right?
Yeah, just the kind of 2 levels on the same deck kind of thing. Because some of the decks, because the way the ship is shaped, you have to go up a few steps here and there. And they're not disable friendly, but they have anti-grav, so it's fine. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. We did find some stairs. Sorry, Toby.
I was saying, don't the wheelchairs just hover? So they would.
Yeah, that's what I said. They have anti-grav. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can. They have gravimetric plating, but they have anti-gravimetric, or well, I suppose they're gravimetric just in reverse on the bottom of the wheelchair, so they can just float.
Like Daleks, they do not fear stairs.
Basically.
So they enter the bridge and they find that they've dropped from warp 9. As Geordie reports, the little buggers have gotten into the warp controllers and he's trying to bypass everything. Riker reports that ventilation and life support's failing all over the place and the pilot's seat doesn't go up and down anymore.
Yeah. Nice Riker lean though.
Yeah. That was my my Red Dwarf reference.
Yeah, like it. I liked it. It's good.
Picard tells Data that they will lose consciousness, so it's up to him to carry out the plan. Riker's ready to lose consciousness with a Riker maneuver. He's planted his foot firmly on that console, so he won't be going anywhere.
Yeah, and again, I have to call bullshit on this. Like, all those equipment lockers on both sides, they don't have respirators with a couple of hours of air in them for the bridge crew, or the bridge module doesn't have a separate air supply from the rest of the ship, you know, for like emergencies if they're under attack or whatever.
Yeah, you would think if they have it in airplanes in this day and age, they would probably have something.
They have like extra air just for the pilots, because, you know, if something happens to the rest of you, the plane doesn't crash, everyone else lives, you know, like. Exactly, the cockpit, the bridge should have extra air, just special, just for them, and a couple of breather masks or whatever it is they need. No. But no, everyone just gets knocked out, and then every other ship that doesn't have a data and the same situation occurs is like, well, you can die, so good luck.
It wasn't until recently I realised those things down the edge of the bridge were actually lockers. I mean, they never actually used them once.
No, not once. But if it happens in a plane, I think you only have about 8 minutes of oxygen, something like that. But the reason for that is that it just dives to a level where, if there is a breach, that you'll have enough. You know, they'll dive to a lower altitude where the point where it won't matter anymore. So, but the pilots get, you know, like an hour or two, because just in case they, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, if you'll be a bit lightheaded, you get a headache, or you might. You know, but you won't die from it just being in thin air. But like, the pilots obviously need to be, you know, on their game, so their masks work for hours.
So sometime later,
no. We say shuttlecraft in the sky. I can fly like high. Look at that, it's in a pet smiler rainbow.
Smilers in the house.
Is that the Reading Rainbow theme tune?
Yeah, but I there's no book, so I just said
I knew that. I got that reference. How about that? And I'm British.
Yeah, that show never aired in the UK or in Ireland.
No,
so
we have no clue what that is, or that in fact Geordie was in any way related to it. It means absolutely nothing.
I know that fact backwards. I don't go, oh, there's the guy from Reading Rainbow and TNG. It's just not like that.
I watched a YouTube video where he got awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award in like a children's award thing because of everything he did on Reading Rainbow. And they had this like whole sort of documentary thing about Reading Rainbow and the things he did on it. And it was all news to me, but it was fascinating. It made me kind of appreciate his skills and what he's done in it.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I think when the show came out, I think he was the main draw because I think him and Brent were the only ones people knew. They knew Brent a little bit from Night Court, even though he was only a guest star. Although they were going to upgrade him to a regular, and as I said, he had been Kunta Kinte in Roots, and also he had the Reading Rainbow thing. So everyone knew him. Nobody knew who Patrick Stewart was, some theatre actor from the UK.
We did know. We did know.
I know him from Dune.
He was in Dune.
Oh, he was in Dune. Yes.
He was in Camelot. He was Knight.
Yeah, well, he was told to sign the contract because they said, "Don't worry about it. You'll never see the end of it. They'll just end up paying you off." Never actually expected to be there for 7 years. Nor a reprisal role 35 years later. I mean, if he died tomorrow, and I hope he lives for another 100 years, what's the headline going to be? Star Trek actor dies. He'll never be remembered for anything else. Not a Shakespeare, not Dune, not anything. Just
Professor Xavier.
Yeah, but that's not as big. Nowhere near as big.
No. He's played a badass in almost every freaking universe.
I don't know. Dave's gone from growing up next to where Brent Spiner grew up to now living 10 miles from where Patrick Stewart's from. He's
in what? In West Riding? In Yorkshire or near Yorkshire.
Or Chateau
sorry, West Riding
is.
No. Is it West Riding is from? I think that's where it is. Like basically Yorkshire. Although you wouldn't believe for 1 second he's from Yorkshire if you didn't know. Like
he certainly doesn't. He certainly lost the accent, didn't he?
Yeah. He's all that Shakespearean training has knocked it all out of him.
Right, let's get this thing over the line.
Wookiee's telling tales on all of us. Sorry, I know you want to get going, but Wookiee's told Smiler that it's been absolute chaos. Monty started getting flashbacks from his tour in Nam. Sean's been extremely racist to Native Americans. Mazza started doing some weird breakdance, expressionist kind of dance, and Tavi is just like all the time, so no change there.
Oh yeah, you missed my whole conversation about why I thought blackface was okay. We've moved straight past it.
We've gone through blackface as well.
Past that one.
We
got to blackface.
We've been there all over the place today. Yeah.
There was a lot of poo talk tonight. A good 20 minutes.
A lot of fun. A lot of poo talk. Yeah, it's been a weird one. Okay, so
full moon maybe.
Let's get this over the line. Let's get to the end.
Yeah, we're there. Let's go.
We're literally nearly there. So sometime later, the Enterprise arrives at the asteroid belt and Data initialize the particle beam and lures the parasites back to their home, and they wake up from their little nap, the crew that is, and they live happily ever after. All done. There's some shots though, because it's great.
There we go.
Tavi Coons would like that one.
That's some nice lighting. That's some generations.
Knocks everyone
generations.
out.
It does, doesn't it? Or it's like he's flying through a Borg cube right now.
Yeah. Play sabotage over that.
There's the particle beam getting rid of the pixie dust, and there it's arriving at their asteroid, and yes, there we go. We're now in 10 forward, and it's wedding day for Lwaxana and Campio. All the guests are there. We're all waiting. They're waiting for the bride, who's arriving late to her own wedding, as is the bride's want. But then when she does arrive, she makes quite an entrance, because she's dressed in a traditional Betazoid wedding dress, i.e. nothing. This surprises no one. No one of the crew, anyway. It surprises no one, including Alexander, who doesn't seem surprised in the least bit. But he's probably seen it already in the mud bath. So he's all out of surprises.
I think I read in the Star Trek magazine way back when she used a body double, but that doesn't surprise me because that's not the skin of a 60-year-old woman. That's like 20s or 30s. If you look back, that's just
really.
If you look back at Yeah, like that skin is too young. It's not grey and clammy and all messed up. It's someone in their 30s.
Older women have,
That's why.
But no,
It's why
Great,
Sean's
clammy and all messed
That's
up.
why Sean's still
Somewhere-
single, everyone.
I didn't read this up in relation to this episode, but I remember reading back in the day. I want to say the Star Trek magazine, like 25 years ago. Someone did ask the question, was it her? And the producer replied, no, they used a body double.
Yeah. Not
I
surprised.
mean, yeah, I might expect some slightly wrinklier elbows, but I wouldn't expect grey, messed up skin.
It's like, geez.
You know, it's the
Well,
hair
she
that
was-
goes grey. Your skin still stays skin colour.
No,
right?
yeah, but it goes pale and yeah, you know what I mean. And it loses elasticity. That's not the skin of a 60-year-old.
Christ. Yes. So there is two people that are shocked, and that is her husband to be and Eriko, who's completely shocked by all this. Here's their shock face. I don't know what Eriko's looking at.
He's like, two of them.
He's finding so devastatingly shocking.
Where are the rest?
Yeah. So Eriko quickly rushes Campio out of the room, covering his eyes, and they're never seen again. Lwaxana's feeling much better about herself and is happy with how things turned out. Alexander and herself were able to learn something from each other and enjoy a nice mud bath together, this time with Lwaxana and Worf, or Mr. Wolf, who joins them, and he questions if he's just supposed to just sit here, and he's not too happy about it. And that is the end of the
he's
episode.
chin deep.
Yeah, he's getting the most out of that. I say mud, but I do think it looks a lot thicker when you see when you see the others. Oh no, I've lost. I'm gonna have to get rid of some of these because I'm running out of. When you see the others, it looks. I mean, look how it covers her arm there. It looks almost like transparent. But then when you see his, it does look thicker.
Yeah, possibly he could have been shot on different days.
Look at his little face. He's so funny.
He's so unhappy about it. He's just not happy about
Well,
being in it.
As I said, you see again in Picard, Michael Dorn is a very funny person, and they didn't let him be funny enough in TNG. But yeah, when he got his moments, he definitely milked them.
So that's the end of the episode. We're done. Have we got a final question and bonus question?
Yeah. Ba-da-da-da. Yeah, we do. So, question 6. What was the name of the asteroid field Data dumps the parasites? A. Parallax. B. Valeris. C. Ceti Alpha. D. Pelorus.
Oh, I'm gonna go with. It's out of A or D.
Go for A, Monteban.
Shall I? I was gonna go D. What?
Nothing?
I think
Everybody else is answering D. You may as well go for something different, right?
No, sounds like no. It's D, isn't it?
Okay, yeah.
It's not
Oh,
Parallax.
you saw through my cunning plan.
Monty, do you want to talk me through the board?
Valaris is the Vulcan in Star Trek 6. Ceti Alpha is where they tested the Genesis device in Star Trek 2.
It's Star Trek 2, but that's the planet. Ceti Alpha 5 was the planet they marooned Khan.
Yeah.
They tested it on a different planet. They call it Genesis planet. I forget what they called it before.
Well, it wasn't a planet. It was actually a nebula next to Ceti Alpha.
Very good. And Parallax was just the name of where the comet was, the planet they were dealing with at the start. That's what got you confused. And I fooled nobody with it, but I got close. Okay, we'll move to the bonus question because I got nobody with that. Okay, so during this episode, Good Morning America visited the set. Patrick Stewart's disapproval was documented in which documentary?
Really?
Yes.
No idea.
Oh, it was on Netflix. It was a very good documentary. And all sorts of animated things. And he walked off the set and he nearly quit over it because they had the weatherman sitting in his uniform. It was a whole thing, and it's a very famous documentary.
I'm going to go with...
I think...
something like that.
Yeah. That's well, if nobody gets it bang on, I think it's
that's
close
not
enough.
bang on, is it? But it's something like that.
Yeah, you're very, very close. Trouble is the word that's not quite right.
Oh.
Anyway, while we're waiting for people to put some answers in,
go.
What was it?
Act
Oh,
five.
something about, they were heading at warp 9, then they went to warp 6.5. It would have taken a lot longer than what they said if they'd dropped that far out of warp.
Yeah, that's only like 1/50th of the speed or something like that. It's nowhere near the same.
I'm not so good with ship's anatomy as you guys, but apparently the hydrogen nitrium plasma beam was supposed to come from the Enterprise's Bussard collectors.
Yeah.
But it actually looked like it was coming from the saucer section's ventral phaser bank.
Yeah.
It is.
Make no
correct.
sense.
Yeah, and data even says engaging the Bussard collectors, and then you see it emanate from the, as you say, the ventral phaser bank underneath the saucer section, which is so someone didn't get the note in the special effects department.
Yeah, the red bit at the front of the nacelles is the Bussards, and they suck in gases, mainly deuterium.
I thought it was hydrogen
from space.
Was it deuterium? Was it?
Oh, was it hydrogen as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but they suck in various gases that they're used for around the ship, and they need them to help run the ship. They still need dilithium and other things, but they need them to keep running. But because they suck them in, they can run it in reverse and like push them back out again. So they can just like flip the switch and push out gases instead of suck them in.
Yeah.
And you see it in other episodes. You see it in the one with the Packleds. The same thing. They push them out of the Bussards. So this. Although, again, Red Dwarf reference, that big kind of scoop they have at the front, the ship can basically run forever on zero fuel because it just picks up particles, does fusion, and it spits out the back. So it never needs to have fuel on board. It'll run forever.
I never realised with Red Dwarf, sorry to get all Red Dwarf heavy, but there's, whenever you see a Red Dwarf, especially in the early, the season 1 to 5, there's like a big asteroid like built into the front underneath of Red Dwarf.
Is there a mining ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But actually, apparently that was because, that scoop on the front, they got to pull up to asteroids and suck it in through that thing. Someone was drunk driving Red Dwarf and basically smashed it into an asteroid, and the company are so cheap that they just couldn't be bothered to do anything with it. So then Red Dwarf just then goes around with an asteroid embedded in his hull because the Jupiter Mining Corporation just can't be asked to pay to get it fixed.
Yeah, that sounds like any company I know.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think that was about it. Bates McFadden only appeared in one scene, no dialogue. And
Was that in the
apparently
wedding?
Laura Schlesinger appears briefly walking across the screen in the wedding scene, but as a bit of a cameo. But I meant to go back and look, but as you know, I was a bit pressed for time earlier and trying to shower 20 minutes before the show, so I didn't have a chance to double look. Dave says, can he throw in a shameless plug for his TNG group? Of course you can, Dave.
Of course, yeah, go for
I
it.
sort of did a bit at the head of the show, but absolutely feel free. It's the Next Generation Real fan group, right? Is that? I don't know if I got it quite right, but yeah.
Smile Rainbow, are you around? Can you put a link in chat if you're there? Or yeah, has anybody got a link? And they put it in the private chat and be up backstage, and I will stick it in. I'll stick it into live chat. Which one is it? It's
yep.
it's the TN.
It's the real, with like real in capitals.
Yeah.
Star Trek: The Next Generation Real Fan Group. That's the one, I think.
That one.
Yep. Star Trek: The Next Generation Real Fan Group.
Yes. Yeah.
2,500 members.
Oh, there's a link. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, it's amazing how
Sorry,
bitchy
I've
some of the
got it.
groups get.
I've got it. There you go. There is a link. By the vault. There you go. So, as we've reached the end, and we're about to do the answers to the final question, think about what you give this episode out of 10. Marks out of 10, 0 to 10. What would you score this episode? Put your scores for this episode into live chat.
To get me paddle. So in terms of reception, interesting to some, you mentioned about how many times Lwaxana Troi changes outfit. And it did actually get 2 Emmy Awards. Only 4 other episodes of Star Trek have won this many. It got it for Outstanding Individual Achievement in Costume Design for a series for Robert Blackman, and Outstanding Individual Achievement in Makeup for a series. I'm guessing part of this is because of the holodeck stuff, right? So they have lots of different quirky and, even with Mr. Heckles, and all that kind of interesting stuff, as well as the glory of Lwaxana Troi and her outfits.
They were particularly splendid in this episode, I thought, and it definitely looked like an ups. They skilled up in what they can do with those outfits from earlier seasons, I think.
Yeah, and sorry, carry on.
So I was just going to say, I think there was a run where, for something like 8 or 9 years in a row, there was only 1 year in the middle where one Star Trek series didn't win the award for best makeup effects. The Emmy, because every year Star Trek just kept winning it because who's going to beat them? CSI New York, it wasn't happening. So they more or less won it all the way through. Sorry, go on, Mazza.
Dave's favourite bit was when Worf was a killjoy, and then twatted the butthole.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say, I don't know if anybody else knows anything that's really unusual about this episode. I don't know. I can't recall all episodes to check this fact, but this main plot focuses only on 2 recurring characters instead of any of the main cast.
Oh, right,
and it's only a paper moon from the 7th season of Star Trek Deep Space Nine is one other episode that also did this. So
main characters in this are not any of the main characters. I see. Yeah.
I was going to say
they're not part of the main A plot or B plot.
I was going to say
Keiko
and O'Brien.
Kind of is, but yeah.
Kind of.
I was going to say Keiko and O'Brien, but the only episode that focusing on them is in Deep Space Nine, and by that stage, O'Brien's the main character. So they have scenes together, but they're never the main plot of the episode. So yeah, I guess that's probably a thing.
And Deep Space Nine has so many main characters. The thing is, it has a whole menagerie of.
Yeah, they have an ensemble cast. It's much bigger.
So answers. Did we get it right? Did we go through the answers?
Sorry, it was chaos on the bridge. D is fine.
Chaos.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's it.
Yeah, Polaris was the field, but it sounded quite similar to Parallax.
Nobody else
catching a few
answered,
people,
right?
Caught nobody. I'll give it.
That means
the
10 points goes to Monteban.
Yeah, it has to. He's very, very close.
Money,
there's a documentary. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is. It's called Chaos on the Bridge.
It's very good.
It's all about the making of. In my head, it was much earlier, and it was kind of around the Best of Both Worlds time. But it's actually here that it happened. It was only when I read the fact, I was like, oh, the Good Morning America thing happened this late in the series. I thought it was much earlier. So yeah, Patrick Stewart was ready to walk out during this episode, and he very nearly did. They basically kind of conned him into saying full stories in the episode. They were like, okay, but don't like show the man behind the curtain. Don't show where the set ends. You know, we have to maintain the illusion of the magic tricks. And the producer said, yeah. And then behind his back had the weatherman doing the weather and using the blue screen on the bridge to do the weather in the background. And Patrick was furious about it and walked off the set. He was like any true thespian who's used to the stage show, you know, it never ruined the illusion. And yeah, they did, and he wasn't happy. So yeah, I highly recommend the documentary if you haven't seen it. It's a great watch, and I just didn't know it correlated with this episode until today or yesterday.
Well, there you go. Right, I'm going to put the scores into the spreadsheet. Where's my spreadsheet? Right, have you got all the scores there, Maz?
I do. For Dave's benefit, having done this for the first time, obviously we were talking about hundreds of points earlier, but what we then do is we tally people, and the person in first place gets 10, and then 9 points, 8 points, 7 points, 6 points, etc. So, so Monty Ban was top of the pops with 440 weeks, so you get the full whack of 10 points, Monty Ban.
That puts me on 35.
Nice.
I don't even go up a place. I don't even catch G-Star. It's so disappointing.
Sad times. It's because you're a bit, because Monty Man used to do all of the quizzes himself, so he didn't participate. But now Sean's doing them. Monty Man gets to participate. You'll find yourself moving up through the ranks soon enough, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, you knew what
you
knew what station Geordie was at on the bridge, and nobody else could even name the station. So you definitely have those technicalities.
Dave got it.
Him and Dave both guessed.
Oh, Dave, sorry.
Guessed correctly. That's amazing.
Correct. Yeah, and I didn't even mention the stations or give you any sort of hints. Just both got it. I was like, all right.
I have my model bridge next to me here, so I kind of have an advantage.
It's true.
You've got the Playmates bridge, yeah.
So in second place, in joint second place, is Tavi and Dave with 420 points. So you share 9 and 8 points, which is 9 points each rounded up.
9 points. Okay, so that's
9 points each for Tavi and Dave.
2.
So,
and I'm going to have to add Dave. Dave.
Wookie's asking, can he have the points if no one got it right? You can, Wook, but you have to take 150 points for the answer. In which case,
Wookie, you don't like getting points. We've tried to give
the
you
winner,
points before.
the winner for the week.
He
so,
doesn't want points.
If you want to be the winner, it's fine. We'll put you.
We'll give you some negative points.
It'll only stress you out, Wookie. Don't worry about points. Next is Stu and Mazza, myself, on 350 points. So we get 7 each on the leaderboard.
7. That's 153.
And then fractionally, only 10 points behind us is Ruth. So she gets 6.
And 146.
And then Andrew didn't answer the last question, I believe. So kind of just slipped a little bit at the last and gets 5 points on the leaderboard.
5 points for Andrew. There we go. I will quickly just rething my thing.
You're rethinging your thing.
I gotta just rething my thing. And there we go. So yes, Dave has gone from nowhere, not being on the board. He's already made his way up to near the middle of the board already. So that's
nice.
That's pretty good going. That's pretty good going.
Well, Dave, we do reset the season in like 5 episodes, so
yeah,
there's a new leaderboard
enjoyed it
for
tonight.
Season 6.
We're here every Wednesday, 8 o'clock.
We have a
except for when we're not.
Yeah, occasionally there's a week or two where we're on holiday.
Monty goes on holidays or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Right. So, what's people scoring this episode then? Have you got your paddles?
So, the crowds, our watchers, have scored on average 6.
Right. I've already chosen my number.
I've already got my number.
Are you ready?
Ooh. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
7654.
There's not a lot of data in this episode.
It's a bit of a range on that one, isn't it? It's a bit of quite a range.
Well, it averages to 5 and a bit.
What did I say? 6. Maz went with 7.
7. Tubby was 4,
four,
Sean was 5.
5.
And in chat, we had a 7, a 5, a 5.6, and a 7, which averages out at 6.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
6.16, but rounds down to 6.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't awful, but there's nothing really great about it either.
It does.
And the B plot just.
It does put it at the second lowest ranked episode of the season, just in front of the Masterpiece Society and Violations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
and
behind
again,
the Outcast.
Majram, Stupla, Majram. Love you too.
Yeah, I have no great problem with the Masterpiece Society, but Violations was an awful piece of crap. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess that's fair. It's just not memorable. It's not great.
Do you know what? I started watching it, and I have to admit, for the first, 10 minutes, I couldn't remember watching this episode before. I mean, I've seen them all like loads and loads of times. I've watched through the whole of TNG through my lifetime, 20, 30 times. But I was watching it, and I swear to God, I'm getting old. And I'm just like, I was like watching it for the first time. And it wasn't until I saw the head thing. And I was like, oh, I remember that annoying little head. And then when the orange guy came out and was like, the higher, the fewer. I was like, I remember that. That's all I remember about this episode.
I was a little bit young for TNG because it came out in 87. I was born in 85. So although it came out a little bit later in Ireland. And my brother got me into it. And as he got older, into his teens, he's 7 years older than me, he started recording episodes on tape. So it was easy enough to watch him back. But by the time we started doing that, we were well into DS9, like season 3 or 4 of DS9. So all of TNG and the first season or 2 of DS9, they're just not stuck in my brain as hard. The DS9 stuff is stuck in my brain really strong, as is Voyager. And I was kind of off doing my own thing when Enterprise was on. I've recently just rewatched it. And God, season 1 and 2 were amazing, and season 3 was awful. And they tried to fix it in season 4, but too little, too late. But it just doesn't stick in my brain, some of the stuff. But the later seasons obviously stick better because it was later in my life. I was starting to be older and remember more. But it's just even in season 5 or late season 5, I'm still kind of a little bit iffy on 1 or 2 of these. Just don't stick in my brain right. Yeah. Although I remember this one. I remember all the Lwaxana ones because they're just simply awful and I hate them, and they just stick in my brain for that reason.
I would have to say that. In this episode, it stuck out to me because they're writing this script as her as this high class society sort of woman, basically royalty, getting married to another bit of royalty, and it didn't stick very well. The entirety of this show, they've never actually given her any substance in the background other than being the comedy added to it, but her dignity was never there. So this comes in and she's like, he's getting married to royalty. I feel like the episode would have gone a bit better if Lwaxana Troi's character had been given a bit more solidity up until now. And then right now, it was just a weird episode. And even though I thought it was very touching, because they had to deal a lot with growing old. And for some people, when they get older, they're alone. That was a very, I guess, poignant moment. But otherwise, it was such a lackluster episode. Maybe I should have given it a 5 because I got to see Data all lured up. But it was just so meh, but then a little bit less because I'm like, no, I would never watch this one again.
I mean, for me, it's a bit like with how Monty's been with a few episodes in the past, where when last week we said that this was the episode, I was like, oh, that Lwaxana Alexander one, and I kind of rolled my eyes. But when I was watching it, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And I mean, I think when Rick Colby was saying it was fluff, but nice fluff.
And Rick Berman said he thought it was charming. It had heart and warmth. And I did find it a little bit more enjoyable than I expected. And in the context of, Gene Roddenberry having died as well, I gave it an extra point.
And that's why I gave it 6. So I think I was like the highest score on this one, wasn't I? And
no, I give it 7.
Oh, did you give it 7? But yeah, no, I think I was expecting to score it a 4. But because I didn't remember it so much, it kind of came at it a bit fresh. And because I'm older now, and I'm less about the pew-pews and the, action, I did think that the relationship between Alexander and Lwaxana was actually really sweet. And I think Tavi's right. I think, her reaching her age, it was kind of a poignant scene, and I thought that was quite well done. I thought Worf's annoyance over Alexander, as a dad myself, I can chime with that now, where, as a teenager when I was watching it, I was probably more on Alexander's side and felt it was a bit unfair, but now I kind of can see it more from Worf's side of things. But yeah, no, so I thought it did, I did enjoy it more than I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to absolutely hate it and be bored, but I wasn't. It was quite enjoyable. And there was a lot going on. It was kind of a weird episode as well, where it seemed to wrap up after the teaser, It's like throws you into all this action of them destroying asteroids, and then...
I literally started it, thought, oh, I've accidentally started this part the way through. Went back to the beginning. I was like, oh no, that was where it started.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. It's kind of fun like that, and I thought that was quite a good and interesting start. Than just Captain's Log, Stardate 29476. We're traveling to the star system to for a diplomatic function, or it was just like pew pew, phaser fire, asteroids blowing up. I'm like, oh crumbs. But yeah,
that's very much like Mesa, where I thought that I hadn't started it at the correct area.
Yeah, Wookie, you're not the first person to ask me if I could clone Smile a Rainbow. You're on a list. There's a list. One day when the technology comes available, I'll be selling them probably. I'll be.
Have you spoken to Smile a Rainbow about this?
Do you remember that episode of Red Dwarf Rimmer's World?
Yes.
And he has cloning tech.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
And he tries to clone a female version of himself, and he just clones another man.
Yeah.
And then eventually he clones a female version of her, and he goes, well, I have this horrible, dilemma. She's obviously my sister. I shouldn't touch her. How do I get around this? And he goes, oh, I figured it out. I just won't tell her.
Oh. He's got concubines, isn't he, either side of him?
Yeah.
And, they remove the drape
the
thing, and it's all Rimmer.
It's so Rimmer.
It's all Rimmer.
It's such a Rimmer thing to do.
Yeah. Yep. So okay.
Chief Sean, you're going to have to try harder in future because nobody got a bingo line this week.
Okay.
Most disappointing.
Wow.
I will have to work harder. I thought I talked about it. I didn't mention Doctor Who at all, but
no, you did not.
Yeah, I guess maybe someone's waiting on the corner. Sorry.
Everyone was so close.
Yeah, I've got quite a few where it's like 4 in a row, but yeah, no full lines, no full corners.
Can you give me 2 or 3, Tavi, that I could have said that would have completed a line or the corners that I didn't do?
Well, there was one where it's kind of close, but it actually went to a comment that Monty was saying, where you guys were talking about the inertial dampeners not working. So space fact, I thought was one that I was on the fence about. What else?
Didn't you get a space fact in there anywhere? Wow, I'm shocked.
I am too. It's like he was a very chatty for a good one.
It's not a space fact. It's it's more an engineering fact or a physics fact. All right, sorry. I'll try harder.
Who wants to know what episode we're
Now
talking
that you're
about next
doing the
week?
quiz questions, you're interjecting throughout the thing a little less than you were before.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, I there's less things I can talk about because I'm going to give away the questions if I mention the things that I obviously find something interesting. I work
You
a question
research
around it,
yeah.
and therefore I can't talk about it. If you bring it up, that's fine, and I just grin and hold my teeth. But I can't keep just go, oh, this interesting thing. No, I just have to shut up, and I'll bring it up as part of a question. So
I just read Smiler Rainbow Squad. Smiler's World.
Yeah.
It's Smiler, Smiler, Smiler Rainbow.
Oh, and Wookie says because the thing sculpture will have a double rainbow over it. For Smiler, who wasn't here earlier, Wookie says he's making a paper mache sculpture of us 4 hosts.
Can't
And
wait.
now it's going to have a double rainbow over
Can't
it.
wait to see that. Yeah, that's, yeah. Next week's episode. So next week we're discussing season 5, episode 21, The Perfect Mate. Yes.
Picard episode.
who plays the perfect mate? Do you remember, Monty?
She's got a funny name. I can't.
Isn't she an X-Men?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah,
Can't remember her name.
Janssen.
So she could like Umka or something. What is it?
Famke Janssen.
Now, the thing is, it's going to be weird because this is an episode that I have watched a lot. And so now I'll probably watch it and think,
Oi, oi.
And why was that?
why did I watch this a lot when I was, probably late teens, 20-year-old? I can't think why this VHS video got used a lot. There were reasons. I had a particular fascination with this episode. I like the spots.
TMI, dude.
It was the spots. And she's not even a trill, so it's kind of weird.
Well, yeah, she inspired the trail. Look, we'll save that for next week.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week. But yes, so The Perfect Mate next week. Yes. Was there anything left we needed to cover on this one?
I don't think so.
No. Cool. Well, thank you to everyone in live chat for joining us this week. To Wookie, to Smiler Rainbow for joining us after she'd finished in the car park, taking us into Mai Tai. Thank you to Stupum, to Andrew, to Ruth. No Panko, no Panko this evening,
Yeah.
so we didn't get a Panko shout out. So, yep. G-Star.
I'll give her a panko whisker. Panko.
Yeah. G-Star.
I whisper.
By,
Somebody want to whisper? I whistle. Never mind. Panko. There we go. Sorry.
And of course, we had the lovely Dave Pratt from the real Star Trek fan club Facebook page.
TNG.
And Mr. D. Mr. Tavikins.
Mr. Tavikins, who's probably out and
You
about
said that,
around
didn't you?
Scandinavia somewhere in his truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you next
Yeah.
time. We'll see you next week at 8 o'clock for another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Look forward to it.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.